Alize Seymore, a 27-year-old mother from Winter Haven, Florida, and her husband Tre Seymore were convicted in the brutal death of Alize's 6-year-old son, Anthony Rouse, in April 2023. They subjected the boy to relentless torture, locking him in a dog cage, starving him, beating him, and ultimately drowning him in a bathtub, claiming it was suicide. This documentary delves into psychological and psychoanalytic depths of their heinous actions, exploring why a mother and stepfather turn on a defenseless child with such savagery. Why focus on Alize Seymore? Because her crimes are a horrifying psychological puzzle, a case that claws at your soul and demands answers. The way she and Tre transformed their home into a chamber of torment, caging Anthony, starving him into submission, and drowning him in a dark, locked bathroom, is a chilling study in cruelty. Picture this: a 6-year-old boy, his body bruised and gaunt, shivering in a dog cage in a filthy garage, punished for stealing a handful of noodles to ease his hunger. His mother, Alize, eggs on his siblings to beat him, tossing them candy as a reward, their laughter mixing with his cries. Then, in a final act of depravity, Tre holds Anthony's head underwater in a pitch-black bathroom, his small body thrashing until it goes still, his mother's cold eyes watching. This isn't just murder. It's a descent into a psychological void that screams for explanation. Let's step into the twisted world of Alize Seymore, where a mother's love turned to venom. Born around 1998 in Florida, Alize's early life is sketchy, but court records reveal a troubled start. When Anthony was born, she was just 18, and the Department of Children and Families swooped in, taking custody of him for his first 2 years due to an open case against her. This suggests a childhood marked by instability, possibly neglect or abuse, that left deep scars. By 2023, she was married to Tre Seymore, 29, and raising Anthony alongside 2 other children, ages 7 and 10, in a home on Sunburst Road. But this wasn't a happy family. The house was a nightmare. No electricity in the kids' rooms, doors locked from the outside, and a garage reeking of feces where Anthony was caged. Psychologically, Alize's actions point to antisocial personality disorder, a condition where empathy is replaced by callousness and manipulation. Her text to Tre, like, "I hate him," and "I want to put him for adoption," show a chilling detachment from Anthony, treating him as a burden rather than son. Psychoanalytically, this could be splitting, where she idealized her other children while casting Anthony as the embodiment of her failures. Losing custody early on likely fueled a deep sense of shame, which she projected onto Anthony, her firstborn, who reminded her of that loss. Her marriage to Tre was a toxic catalyst. Their texts, like Alize's video of Anthony caged with the caption, "He's staying at F, ing as in rotted," reveal a shared sadism, a folie à deux, where they fed each other's cruelty, amplifying the horror. Killing your own child, filicide, is a rare and unnatural act, making Alize's case a psychological abyss. Forensic psychologists categorize filicide by motive, revenge, altruism, or rage. Alize's falls squarely into rage-driven filicide, fueled by a visceral hatred of Anthony. Her texts like, "Bro, Emma end up killing this fat bee," reveal a dehumanization of her son, reducing him to a source of chaos in her life. This aligns with narcissistic rage, where someone with fragile ego lashes out at perceived threats to their self-image. Anthony's misbehavior, stealing food, soiling himself, was likely a desperate response to starvation and abuse, but Alize saw as defiance, triggering her fury. Why Anthony? He was her scapegoat, a living symbol of her early failures as a mother. Born when she was young and unprepared, he was taken by DCF, a wound her ego that never healed. Her texts about being too busy with the other kids I love and care about show she favored her other children, possibly because they didn't carry the same baggage. Psychoanalytically, Anthony was a bad object, a target for her unresolved trauma, perhaps from her own childhood or the shame of losing him early. Her choice of torture, caging, starvation, and drowning was deliberate, designed to exert total control. Drowning, in particular, is intimate, requiring physical dominance, and doing in a dark, locked bathroom maximized Anthony's terror, feeding Alize's need for power. Encouraging her other kids to beat him was a masterstroke of manipulation, spreading her guilt and isolating Anthony further. It's April 22nd, 2023, in Winter Haven, Florida. A rundown house on Sunburst Road hides a nightmare. The air is thick with the stench of urine and feces. The children's rooms locked from the outside, their breaker deliberately cut, plunging them into darkness. In the garage, a dog cage sits, stained with Anthony's fear. Alize, scrolling TikTok, sends her 6-year-old son to a pitch-black bathroom. No windows, no light, the door locked behind him. He's there because he wet himself, a symptom of his malnourished, battered body. Tre follows, grabbing Anthony's head and forcing it underwater. A sick ritual they called swimming. The boy's small hands claw at the tub, his lungs burning, until he goes limp, face down in the water. Tre pulls him out, faking CPR, while Alize dials 911, claiming suicide. Sheriff Grady Judd told WTSB, "I can't explain the horror that this 6-year-old child withstood." Deputies found a home in chaos. Soiled clothes, feces on closet walls, and a cage where Anthony was confined for hours. A 10-year-old sibling, coerced by Alize's threats, revealed Tre's swimming meant drowning, describing how he saw Tre hold Anthony's head underwater. The child said Alize threatened to choke him if he told the truth. Phone searches uncovered texts like Alize's on April 1st. "Bro, Emma end up killing this fat B. My house getting his F-ing dirty calls him." And a video of Anthony Cage captioned he stay in that F-ings and rotted. The autopsy showed scars, cigarette burns, and open wounds, evidence of long-term abuse. Let's get inside Alize's head. Her actions suggest ASPD, marked by a lack of remorse and a knack for manipulation. Her threatening her 10-year-old to lie about the drowning shows a cold, calculating mind, willing to exploit even her own children. Her texts like, "I hate him," and references to Rod Wave's Street Runner, with "If I ever killed it would be to that song," reveal a chilling premeditation, as if she fantasized about Anthony's death. The song's themes of betrayal and struggle may have mirrored her distorted sense of victimhood, casting Anthony as the source of her pain. Psychoanalytically, this is projective identification, where she displays her own shame and rage onto Anthony, punishing him for her failures. Her partnership with Tre was a perfect storm. Their texts show a shared pathology, a folie à deux, where they reinforce each other's cruelty. Tre's chokeholds to put the boys to sleep, and Alize's rewarding siblings to abuse Anthony suggest a household where sadism was normalized. Her early loss of custody likely deepened her resentment, making Anthony a constant reminder of her inadequacy. Forensic psychologist Dr. Karen Franklin, in similar cases, points to conduct disorder in youth escalating to SPD in adulthood, which fits Alize's history with DCF. Her lack of education or stable job, combined with the stress of multiple kids, likely fueled her volatility. But her targeting of Anthony was deliberate, not impulsive. The Polk County Sheriff's Office saw through Alize's suicide claim. On April 22nd, 2023, deputies responded to a 911 call, finding Anthony unresponsive in a bathtub. A search warrant revealed a house of horrors. No electricity, locked bedrooms, and a dog cage in the garage. Phone data was damning, texts, photos, and videos of Anthony's abuse, including Alize's April 21st text. "I want to put him for adoption." On May 18th, Alize and Tre were arrested in Alachua County and transferred to Polk County Jail. By August 31st, a grand jury indicted them for first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and more, with Alize facing an extra charge for tampering with a witness after threatening her 10-year-old. On July 28th, 2025, as jury selection loomed, Alize pleaded guilty to 2 counts of aggravated child abuse, dodging a murder trial. She was sentenced to 20 years, served concurrently. Tre, who agreed to testify against her, pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and got 30 years. Sheriff Judd told Fox 13, "Jail is too good for them. Hell is too good for them." Andre Rouse, Anthony's father, told people, "I told them multiple times I would take him," his grief raw as he mourned his energetic and playful son. Philosophically, Alize's case is a battleground between free will and determinism. Existentialists like Sartre would argue she chose her path, her hatred and cruelty shaping her essence. Yet, a deterministic view sees her as molded by trauma, a failed system, and a toxic marriage. Her choice is constrained by a broken psyche. Her plea deal feels like a slap in the face. 20 years for such horror leaves justice hollow. It forces us to question, can we ever punish enough when a child's life is stolen? Alize's story is a grim reminder that evil often hides behind a mother's smile, a warning of what happens when rage festers unchecked. Winter Haven is forever scarred. Anthony's foster mother, Cassie Metzger, told people he loved swimming, making his drowning a cruel irony. The surviving children, now in DCF care, bear the trauma of abusing their brother under Alize's orders. Andre Rouse's plea, if you see something, say something, is a haunting call to action. The sunburst roadhouse stands empty, its walls echoing Anthony's suffering. This case isn't just about murder. It's about a mother's betrayal, a system that failed to protect, and a boy who deserved to live. It leaves us staring into the abyss, wondering how love can twist into such darkness, our hearts pounding with the weight of it all.